It's time to hit social media for our cash tag segment. For that, we'd like to welcome in Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com, and we have Jenny Horn with us as well. FedEx is one of these names that's reporting, but it's also got some news headlines that if you're the leadership of this company, you probably didn't want to read before you have to go talk to the street about how your company's doing.
No kidding, and this stock has certainly gotten beat up. I mean, this year alone, it's down 16% since spring after they cut their ties with Amazon. And you mentioned the news that came out this morning. They actually announced that they'll be cutting their ties, or Amazon is blocking the FedEx ground delivery. So further cutting their Amazon ties. This is not good news for the stock. They're down about 1.7% just today. But this is great news, of course, if you're UPS. So UPS, last I checked, was up about 0.5%. But of course, none of this really matters for their earnings that they report post-market today. So Landon, what is the bigger picture here with FedEx?
Yeah, that's absolutely big news for them. Obviously, getting rid of Amazon or losing that customer is huge. And, they also, like you talked about, they banned third-party vendors from using them, which is over half of Amazon sales, is about $160 billion in goods each year. So that was a big hit for FedEx. Another hit that we're seeing is the overall happiness. People are getting very frustrated with FedEx. And of course, you think about, we talk about this all the time when people are talking about airlines on social media. Of course, they're going to be complaining more. Same with shipping. Sometimes people do talk about how happy they are they got their shipment on time, but a lot of times it's complaints. But with FedEx, the complaints are really rolling in a lot heavier than normal right now. They're actually at an all-time low happiness of about 47%. So under that critical 50% mark. For comparison, UPS is about 56%. So they're doing much better. An interesting note is they're actually dragging down some of their big customers. For example, Wayfair is one of their really large customers, and their happiness has gone down from 73 to 63, and mostly on concerns about shipping. So they're frustrating not only their customers, individual consumers, but also businesses, because businesses are taking a lot of flack when FedEx messes up. And so this is sort of a longer-term signal for us. Again, you talked about what happened back in August. That may not affect this earnings report. And we're talking about happiness, which is something that may affect future earnings reports. So purchase intent this quarter is very high. Obviously it's holiday season. People are using FedEx a ton. We think that they're going to deliver a lot of packages. But moving forward, next Christmas, or maybe next time people need something in a pinch, they may not think of using FedEx. They may want to switch because of all the frustrations that they're causing.
So Landon, from what I understand about this story, as well as it's a developing story here with Amazon, it's FedEx ground that they're suggesting that, and actually blocking their third-party vendors from using. They're still allowed to use their quicker and more next day and same day shipping methods in terms of FedEx. Is that kind of where you're seeing the sentiment shifting towards? Is this quicker shipping options as more and more of these companies are building out those capabilities?
Yeah, and it's more, I think it's driven by consumer demand. People have higher and higher expectations on when they want those packages. And it all started with Amazon, of course, offering free 2-day shipping years ago. But you can see on this chart when people are talking about getting either the same day or next day shipping as an expectation, this is the 1-year moving average, and it's just going higher and higher. And so people's expectations are going much higher. They're expecting to get this package much faster, and they're also expecting to get it free, which is pretty insane. But of course, that's where the merchant's going to take the hit on that one. But overall, people are expecting more and more out of the delivery companies, and people are buying more and more online. So it's going to cause a lot of stress on companies like FedEx and UPS. So far, we're seeing that FedEx is not being able to handle it. And you've got companies like Amazon and Walmart taking on that last mile delivery. Uber as well could be one in the future that's going to take that. So there is a growing pie here of people who can deliver on time, or consumers who want that, and it's just a matter of who's going to take it. And I think that we talk all the time about the Amazon effect, and I think we were all kind of wrong when it came to Whole Foods versus a company like Kroger. But again, hate to rehash this kind of story, but this is scary for FedEx because Amazon's starting to deliver its own packages and build out its own logistics network, as is Walmart. And so FedEx really needs to shape up.
The on-time percentages that we talked about earlier in the show, Landon: FedEx 92.7%, UPS 92.7%, Amazon 93.7%. And here's the biggest underlying question. Who could judge if their package is there on time or not? I cannot. Who notices? Hey, you were supposed to be here an hour ago. Who would know that?
I think people do care about that. I know.
Fake news. That's what I think this is. I think this is two competing companies arguing with each other.
Well, when you
This
have
time of
these-
year, you will definitely notice if your package isn't on time. If you missed that critical Christmas gift, and you waited to the last minute to order and then you didn't get it and you missed Christmas, you're going to notice for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely think with these companies now delivering in 24 hours, you notice when it's an hour or two different, right? Because it's such a small window.
Who in the world is tweeting right now going, my package got here exactly on time. Awesome job, FedEx.
It seems like it's more my package is, 3 days late or
Exactly.
something, the complainers, of course. So our first tweet is from Jesse Cohen, who says, FedEx will report fiscal second quarter earnings after the close. Market watchers will be looking to see how FedEx has been navigating the U.S.-China trade war in the shorter than usual holiday season. The options market is implying a 6.3% move in either direction following the results. So something we haven't even mentioned in addition to Amazon is, of course, this U.S.-China trade war. I mean, has this been weighing on the stock at all? Because we see it down 16% in just something of like 6 months.
Right, and a lot of when this stock sold off a quarter ago and 2 quarters ago, a lot of the news was U.S.-China trade. Mm-hmm. That was the bigger part of their problems. They didn't talk about Amazon. They said Amazon's 2% of our business, so they really de-emphasized Amazon. Their whole thing was U.S.-China, and we had to get that right. So maybe this is some news that could actually start to turn FedEx around.
Absolutely. It seems like with the progress we've had on this trade war, this could be a good thing going forward long term for FedEx. So our next tweet says the battle between FedEx and Amazon is just getting started. Amazon is looking to develop its own delivery service, and that's hurting stocks like FedEx and UPS. The question is, can Amazon do it effectively on a large scale? 2020 could be the tipping point. So Landon, you just mentioned, of course, Wei, we were kind of disappointed with the Whole Foods, or not disappointed, but Whole Foods didn't have this kind of huge effect like we anticipated it would. Could it possibly have that effect on the shipping space, though?
Right. Yeah, I think that's the big question is, can Amazon do what everyone fears Amazon can do? And they've squashed a lot of small companies. Over the years, if you've had a product on Amazon, a lot of the times it turns into an Amazon Basics, and then that company's kind of dead. And so they have the ability to damage other companies by taking market share in a very fast way. I think maybe with the grocery space, it just wasn't in their niche, and that's why they missed. But this is obviously, logistics is Amazon. So I would give this one a lot more caution. If I was FedEx or UPS, I would give this a lot more credence, thinking that, yes, this is more in their wheelhouse. And if they do nail this, which they have done very good with logistics, if they do nail this, it could be a big hit to those companies. Jack
Welch had an iconic phrase in the glory years of GE when he said, let your back office be someone else's front office. And he said, if you can't do it well, hire someone and have competition do it for you better. And I think that encapsulates this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Can Amazon deliver these packages better than UPS and FedEx?
They seem to think so, because in the report they did say that the quality of the delivery had been down. That's the whole reason for this whole situation.
And the numbers didn't say that.
Well, no, and I think that's the key to this, Landon, as we tie it all together. There's one word to me, and that's perception. What is the perception of quality? Because Kevin brings the actual numbers. They're the same for UPS and FedEx, but your data says that the perception is completely different, with UPS being like 50-some% and FedEx being sub 50%. To me, that says, although the numbers are the same, consumers feel worse about FedEx.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could be a matter of managing consumer expectations. So UPS could be doing a better job of just telling people when they'll get their package and maybe giving themselves a little bit of a margin of error for that. And maybe FedEx isn't doing that. Another point that Amazon could be doing is, when you negotiate, you want to negotiate from a position of strength. And so if they're trying to get their rates cut with FedEx, a good way of doing that is by cutting them out, saying their delivery is no good and we're going to ship ourselves, and building up that infrastructure, giving themselves a position of strength. So there could be a lot more going on behind the scenes that we're unaware of when these big behemoths battle it out. But it's definitely fun. It's definitely good for the consumer because it's only going to get faster for everyone.
Yeah, a little bit of game theory from Amazon potentially playing out here in this negotiation. But Landon, great stuff as always, and we'll see how FedEx shapes up when they do report these earnings. Jenny, thanks to you as well.